How you feeling there, Lauren? You ready for us to begin our art talk?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
We are live. We are officially live on Twitch at this time. And I want to welcome you to our first art talk. I am Kisma. I am an artist, a writer, and a creative guide. And my co-host is Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm an educator and I enjoy in my free time doing all kinds of things that are artistic and creative, especially art journaling and collage.
Yeah, and we got together and we decided to do this monthly art talk. And the fun thing about it is it's for us mostly just to come and hang out and talk about any and everything art, right? And we also, what's our intention, Lauren? What's our intention? Do we have a specific intention?
I think it's just to bring people together to talk about interesting artistic things and to enjoy that sharing of information.
Yeah. Yeah, the sharing of information. Yeah. And we're going to have special guests along the way, right? I can tell you a future guest coming on is Connie Solera from Phoenix, Arizona. So I'm excited for that. And we're working on reaching out to different artists. Do you have any names you want to drop, Lauren?
Tamara Laporte and
yeah.
Miracle would be excellent if we can grab them and get them on the show with us.
Oh yeah, we have a whole list. We have a whole list that we're reaching out to. And if you are an art teacher and you have a program that you offer and you are interested in coming on our show, then just reach out to one of us. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, because we know there are so many wonderful individuals out there sharing creativity and art practices and techniques. And we like to think that we are aware of everybody doing that, right? But the truth is there's so many of us right now that every day it seems I am learning about a new person. So introduce yourself to us and don't be shy, because
We'd love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess, is there anything else we want to say about these monthly art talks? Oh, we welcome input. We welcome our viewership to share with us, to ask questions, to post in the chat, whether you're watching us on the Twitch TV channel or via my live stream classroom at visionaryartistpath.com. They both have chats, and if you just post into your questions, your comments, always say hi if you're viewing. We love to see who all is checking in. And yeah, and also viewers, if you have somebody that you would love to see come on to the art talk, don't hesitate. Tell us about them. And yeah, you can post them right into the chat, and we will grab that name off of the chat. Anything else you want to add, Lauren?
I think that's it. I think we're ready to start off with our first guest.
Ooh, okay. Okay, it is my honor to introduce to you our first of many monthly art talk. And today we have here in the studio with us, we have a man from my art background of many names. His real name is Rainer Schneeberger. Virtually, he goes by the name of Art BLAU, and also artistically, he goes by the name of KUNST BLAU. So if you hear any of those names, you'll know automatically who we're talking about. He is a visual or visionary conceptual artist, and he is from Munich, Germany. He is a pioneer of digital art. He currently holds a grant given by the Linden Endowment for the Arts to visualize the verses of the book of Genesis, which is a huge undertaking. And he's using AI, that formidable AI text prompt application process that's sweeping our metaverse with great controversy amongst artists, especially in social media. And his grant will be open to the public mid-May or end of May in a immersive virtual 3D platform called Second Life. And then later it will be opening in another virtual platform, I believe, called Craft World. We'll see. We'll ask him that. He's a keynote speaker in his field of expertise at many educational and art conferences around the world, both online and in person. And he has authored over 7 books and calendars under the name Reiner Schneeberger or Ervare. So I'm going to show you a couple of those. Here's his best-selling. And this one is called The Gods of Informatics and the Great Wheel. It's an incredible read. It goes into digital art also and just wonderful, wonderful things that I'm not going to go on about. I'll let you read it. Not sound, sand, not sound. Another great book, very out there, but I love it. I love it. I love it. Here's A History of the White. Now, this book is actually a blank book. He created it as a journal. So, hey, those of you who have an art studio journal, this might be a book you'd want to get because you've seen the author right here. And the other one is called B.LAU, The Brain of Art. And I'm sorry if these aren't showing through really well because of the background, but this, and this is my favorite. It's a compendium. It's called One Biennale Living in a Coded World. This was based on one of the art projects that I got to be involved in with Art BLAU. And lastly, his last involvement in publishing, oh, actually, there's one more he'll tell us about. He illustrated the cover and the chapter illustrations in my latest novel, In Search of the Beloved. And he used AI text prompts for that too, using the passages right out of my novel as his foundation. Let's see, what else do I want to say about this man? He's got incredible genius, and he really can take us, he can spin us out into worlds that we don't know even exist. So I am going to invite you to welcome Art BLAU to our show. Okay, Art BLAU, come on in.
Okay, here I am.
Welcome, Art BLAU.
Welcome.
Welcome.
You gave me many names. You
I
forget the most important one.
Art BLAU.
No, the blah, blah, blah artist you said
Oh.
yesterday in the rehearsal.
Okay, I admit that. We did a rehearsal and I skipped all the names. And
Just for technical purposes, I have no clue what is asked, what will be asked.
that is very true. We just did a technical dress rehearsal just to make sure that we all kind of went with the groove a little bit because it's so, this is new. This is new. All right, so I'm going to jump right in and I'm going to ask Art the first question of maybe many, who knows. And my question here is, I would really love it if you would share with us what's going on in your creative practice right now. Yeah.
What's going on? You said it's that I'm now totally on the Bible, on the Genesis, to visualize the chapters and the verses. And it's more a quantity challenge because there are so many. And by doing so, of course, you look what of the many thousand pictures you produce are suited to be shown in a world where people are walking along and recept the art and talk about the art. And so it's quite a challenge to find quality among the quantity of AI generated art images.
Do you want to share with us a little bit about AI and working with that forum, which is truly a controversial subject? I don't have all the details. I did not read the article, but did you see that a head developer at Google has left Google because of the AI Google, the Bard? What is it? The Bard at Google? He's left, and he's broadcasting all these warnings about, that we're going to be in.
Yeah, that's a very interesting discussion, and I'm happy that I contribute to this discussion with my expertise from the past. That means I made the first chatbot discussions 50 years ago when I was very young. And so it's a continuation of this development. And so I should say that my last book is Let Us Talk About Elon, where I speak with the ChatGPT and have a little focus on Elon, but more in a funny way. So the reflection of what comes out of this quantity goes into quality is a very stunning experience. And you have to do it. So it's always better to do it than to speak about things you have just a box or heard people speaking about. So I can only hope that many people are reading this dialogues, this book, and it's free on Kindle. So you can just read it and you will be stunned what the machine gives to me as a feedback on my prompts or on my, I would not say questions, but the way the interaction happens is really not expected, was not expected by me and can't be expected by anyone who is not in this field. So it is like if you are, let's say, in this 100 years, look back 100 years, and I would speak to you about cars, or 50 years, look back and I would speak about smartphones, you would say, oh, is he crazy? What is he talking about? And it's in a way, when people speak about artificial intelligence, they speak about, but they have not a personal experience in this field. So it goes sideways, yeah? So you don't hit it. And I hope that I can contribute to get a little more focus in this field without making it too academic.
Okay, I have a question for you. I'm going to interrupt you. Because you are involved with a lot of different artists, right? You're involved with real life, what we call, real-time artists. You're involved with virtual digital artists, builders, creators, and what's your response to, for example, a real life artist who comes to you and says, AI is an assault to an artist because, you're taking a text prompt, you're popping it into a machine, it's producing an illustration. How can you call yourself the creator or the artist of that? What's your position on that? How do you feel about all of that?
It depends. Best is to say you are right, because if you don't agree to a person's opinion, you will not be able to change it. So you have to say it's right. It's a big threat on society and about creativity and taking the jobs from illustrators away, giving it to the machine, to people like me, the blah blah artists, just typing in a few nice words, and then you have a great image. And I type in hours over hours, many prompts. So I have 1,000 pictures, and then I just have to decide for 2, and then I have it. Yeah. So it's a threat indeed. And then you can work on it. So if you oppose immediately and say, no, 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 this is technology, it's always going forward. If you look back to music, then people have created drums, guitars, electronic synthesizers. They have not excluded them from their creative work. Yeah, they have. It's their nature to use technology or to use tools in all ways. And if you look to street artists or to modern media artists, to video artists, it always technology had an impact on the driving of art towards something. The question is towards we are now driving with this AI. Yeah, and I would say the real threat or the real problem in this is coding, that you speak to the machine and you ask for a code. So you get software from the machine, which you as a developer put into new applications. So the development of software will be automated, will be driven by artificial intelligence, and then the human brain is no longer able to check what's going on. We can check on an image creation because we see if we like it or we don't like it. Yeah, so we can say no, I dump it. But this question will not be open when it goes to coding.
So when you say coding, you're talking about applications, computer applications, creating a program that would then go onto our Google apps or iPhone apps that we could then download.
Yeah, I talk, for example, automatic driving. So the car is steered by software, or the fridge is steered by such a machine, and everything we use is steered by software. So this is a question: where does the code come from, and what does the code do with you? Code is not just for free. Yeah, if something is for free, there has to be another way of financing it. So you finance it by your social media data mostly. Yeah? So the system, whatever the system is, likes to know with whom you are talking, when you are talking, what are you talking, how you are talking, what are you buying, what are you liking and not liking. And out of this, the financial system is feeding itself. So this is, I think, is a more bigger question behind than to say that with ChatGPT or with Midjourney or with Stable Diffusion or with DALL-E 2 or whatever the names of the packages are, is something created. Yeah, that's a threat or not a threat to artists.
Okay, but a lot of artists, especially virtual artists, they do say when they use these AI text prompts to generate images for them, they claim that they're a real life artist. Is that, for me, there's a definition. I think there's a defining factor that needs to be developed, and there needs to be transparency. I know there for a while before I really realized, oh gosh, AI images are really sweeping the virtual world and digital images. Before I realized that, I would look at some of these artists and go, oh my God, but they're better than Picasso, they're better than Rembrandt. Who are these people that we don't know about? And so I felt when I learned that they were using AI, when finally it came out, I felt cheated. I felt betrayed. I felt as if there were some false claims going on. So I'm all for the use of AI imagery, as long as the person using it is very transparent about it. I'm going to do a little aside with Art Blue, because he's doing this wonderful illustrated Genesis project. And I'm so honored and lucky to be one of 5 guest artists involved in that. And one of our challenges was we had to be willing to use an AI text prompter. And so in my little space, I went to bat, and of course, because I'm so divine feminine oriented, I decided to look at the women of the Bible, right? The women images, and went to bat. And of course, so many of the AI virtual digital artists take that raw image, and that's the procedure I want to talk about in a minute too, Art, but take that and get what they're satisfied with, and then they take it on into an editor program. And you know, whether it's a freebie like GIMP, which is what I use, or it's what's the other one, PowerPoint, I don't know, not PowerPoint, but there's all these application programs you can use. Photoshop, yeah. And they doll it up, they, you know, change colors, they change style, and then they bring it in. And they think that by doing that, they can claim that they are the true creator of that art. And again, the raw image is AI generated. But I had fun, I have to tell you, I had fun doing that. But in keeping with art, you know, what's the biggest challenge using AI prompt text applications have you found? What's the biggest challenge that you've overcome?
It's your personal view in using it. If you have a sort of ink in it, a sort of personal style, if you drift around in the universe, you can do a lot of things and have some traces, but they will not be connected to your personality. So the question for me is, does the work I make, do the variations of works I make have a connection to my personality? So when I select out of what I get, I try to give it a touch of blue. And blue is a metaphor, of course. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it is the color blue always, but I want to have some messages in it where I say, yes, this fits to me. And this leads me to my view of art that is a conceptual view. Solivit, a very old artist in the 60s, wrote about conceptual art. And he said that the machine is creating the art and the artist is doing the concept for it. So if you have a concept in mind, the realization of the concept is something for the machine. Okay, when we don't have machines, we need also artists by hand. We need the hands, we need the brush, we need whatever. Then we can make out of the concept a piece of art. But now we have machines, so all what counts is the concept behind. And I would think it gives a good view if we watch the video I made for the live performers meeting in Münster last month, so this month, last month in April. And it is not very long, but it connects the images itself or themselves. My English is not best, as you know. And the interpretation to the images, which is in part the prompts for the images. So I used words to generate the images, and I gave these words and a few additional inputs to ChatGPT to make an interpretation for these images. Of course, the machine did not know how the images are looking, so it was a fantasizing it. And that's an artificial term and scientific term, the hallucination of artificial intelligence. So they just dig something out which is not there. And then the voice element, that means we have natural voices now in our artistic world where you believe it is a human speaking to you. So if you connect this all, and then the last piece is music, which I will also bring up very soon, to make music out of text, then you have a wide spectrum of artistic fields where the machine or the systems or the software or whatever you call it, where the AI systems will have a part or have already a part in it. And what you said is very important. Is the artist telling us that the machine was involved or little involved or not involved? Yeah, we will see what the future will bring in this field. I say it's all machine made, just a concept, not because right now the coding, and this is what I said before, the coding, the idea is by myself. But in the future, I guess, the coding will be also a part of machine doing.
Okay, so do you want me to, I just want to just take a little moment to greet and say hi to the viewers who are watching us today. This is Kisma and Lauren with our monthly art talk, and our special guest this month is Art BLAU from Munich, Germany, and he's talking to us about AI text prompt for illustrations. And now I believe we're going to watch a maybe part of, or I don't know how long the video is. I don't want to take up all our time with it. A video where he is showing AI text prompt, but he's also using AI text prompt for music, correct?
In the future. I have not done it right now. I will do it.
What are you wanting us to watch right now?
The Super Quadzilla that is on my website.
On your website. So I am going to share his website. So give me just a moment to set that up. Okay, hopefully,
Yes.
hopefully you all are seeing.
Click on videos. It's most easy to click on videos here.
Okay. I hope, let me just do a quick check, please. So it's going to be a mirror reaction. Yes, okay. Let me come back. All right, so this is Art BLAU's website for anyone who might be interested in checking him out more. Art.blau is how you get to it. And we're going down to, did I go too far?
You have to click on the plus symbol.
Okay.
If you go this way.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
And there you have the video at the end.
This right here.
Yes, that works. There are a few versions.
Okay. Now I do want to explain what this is for? May I explain what this was for?
Of course, please.
This video that we're going to watch some parts of, in the virtual reality Second Life, I have an art gallery called Surreal Gallery, and Art BLAU also has a gallery called Mind Journey. Is that correct? Mind Journey. And
Yes.
they're next door to each other. This is an exhibit that was just put on last month called The Man in the Glass Castle. And it consisted of 3 different levels. But here we go. This is all Mind Journey. So I'm going to make this. Oh, we can't watch this. Okay, let me see. No, it didn't work. Let me try this way, okay? Is this the same thing?
Yes. No, a little different, but okay, it will also work if it works.
Nope, bad gateway.
No, okay.
If you can get us the
yes, I will do.
If you can get us the
it's on YouTube, a similar one, but I have to find it first. It could be a Twitch
parameter that's blocking, just so you know.
I wonder, yeah.
It could be. Yeah. But this will give you an example. In the meantime, Lauren, do you have any questions for him?
I did actually. I was really curious because we're talking about creativity and what is real art and what is not art. But I'm really curious, Art, about what is living a creative life? What does that mean for you?
Can you say it again, please? Creative life, was it?
Yes. What does living a creative life mean to you?
I would say that's just life. I'm not sure if I can separate it so much because all my life is creative. So maybe it's an interaction between different fields, science, art, and technology, with my educational interest in bringing knowledge to the world, maybe a little bit too over educated now, but just to talk about what my knowledge is. And I have to thank my mentor, Herbert W. Franke, who died 1 year ago with the age of 95. So he had a long life. And I wrote a book about him in German language, but I translated it also into English via an artificial intelligence program, DeepL, a translator. And my English is good when I read it. So I was checking the quality of the translation, and it was so fascinating, the quality of the translations, that I thought, wow, I don't know what to change. It's just good. It's not how I would have used it. It's not the same way I'm speaking or I'm writing, but it's so good that I said, wow, what shall I do now? There was one translation mistake in it, and that's really amazing. And it is the translation of the word Katatonenkunst. Katatonenkunst is a German name, not used really, but it is a German word. And the machine translated it into catatonic art. But the word Katatonenkunst is said to be coined by William Gibson in Neuromancer. So if you look into academic field of art interpretations, then you will find professors of art who speak about Katatonenkunst coined by William Gibson. And I asked my professor, Herbert W. Franke, Katatonenkunst, I make something in this field and so on, because this piece of art, or this class of art, 1970 something, it was written, or 83, I think. It's art that changed when you touch it. So William Gibson made a room where you touch a knob and the room changes. So it's a sort of immersive art as we have it now. And I asked my professor, Herbert W. Franke, Katatonenkunst, and so on. He said, oh, I know this word. It was used much earlier. Oh. Then he was a little bit trying this and that, where he heard it, and he gave me some keywords where I should look at, and I found the person. Rainer Werner is in fact the first person who published about Katatonenkunst, and this was in the 60s, 1963 or so. Though this tells me again that there is information in the world which we just don't find, but it is there. And Herbert W. Franke corrected art history, so I could publish a correction that Katatonenkunst was not coined by William Gibson. It was coined by a different person and described as an art form used in psychiatric therapy, with creating performances. So it's a sort of performance art in the field of psychiatrics in the late 60s. So it's very interesting that such old people like Herbert W. Franke, he was a better Google, let's say. He was the person who helped me out to make this book KUNST, let's say, more truthful, more trustful. And this is something I'm also very interested that the conservation of art, of old knowledge, of digital art, is an important driving force for the future. So nowadays we have young artists and they make this or that and they say NFT, wow, 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 boom, sometimes make a few $100,000 for selling something. And then you look back and you say, oh, I saw it 30 years ago and it was not called NFT. And it was given for free, or it was had no value. Yeah, my mother told me always that the art under my bed. She wants to use the Hoover, what it's called, to clean it. Yeah, under my bed where all the art was. So get rid of this rubbish. Yeah, no one wants it. And now it's called masterpieces of old art. So some of my rubbish under my bed is now in museums. Yeah, because my mother did not clean under my bed, so luckily, yeah. So this is a point where I say in the future, we will have a similar situation with the first step of digital immersive art, where some boxes have been created, yeah. And you say they interacted, they spoke to each other. And oh, that's the first step there, yeah? So we will look back in some years to the first step, to the pioneers like Herbert W. Franke, and say, oh, wow, he's the pioneer of NFT art, yeah? And he was lucky in his last year on Earth. He was exhibited with the glory he deserved. So before this, he was always a sort of a mathematician with a little art. It was a computer scientist with art. It was such a not a really artist, and it was also not a Nobel Prize winner in physics. Yeah, he studied astrophysics. Yeah, he made his PhD there. So how could he be an artist? Yeah, it's impossible. Then he is a science fiction writer. How can a writer be some artist? It's impossible. A science fiction author, German language. Who speaks German? No one. Yeah. So he was always yeah. And then the last year of his life, he was lifted up. Yeah. And in Austria with National Gallery, and with, yeah, it was a great show for him. And all the NFT artists from New York flew in with landed in Austria, in Linz, and shaked hands with him. Oh, my old friend, yeah, my old friend. I thought, oh, my old friend, what's going on here, yeah? I'm his old friend, let's say, to make it a little provocative. But I wanted a picture with him. Yeah, it's all in my book. Yeah, it's really a good book, I would say. Backlinks to Herbert W. Franke, or German Begegnungen mit Herbert W. Franke, where you see the history of 50 years of transformation. Yeah, so transformation is also something where I say it's creativity in art, that you are able to transform over time what passes along your artistic life. Yeah, I found the video. I posted now. So the video on YouTube, it should be this.
Okay,
we could watch a little bit on it. So you get, so the viewers get a little impression about this immersive art, where avatars and image prompts and this all works together.
Okay, so I'm going to switch screens and bring us over to YouTube. And I know this was made by Wizard Oz Chrome.
No, it wasn't by Nikita, but it's Wizard Oz is mostly the filmmaker.
Okay. Oh yeah, Nikita. Do you? I need to double check. She used public domain music.
Yes, I made the music. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's do it. And here we go. This is an immersive 3D environment. The avatars are operated by people like you.
KUNST BLAU creates images from words, words that have a code in them. It is the code of life, the universe and everything. After over 50 years of hard work in generative computer art, KUNST BLAU ventures into the future of prompt art in the Castle of Glass. This castle is in universal blue. Inside the castle one finds masterpieces of prompt art which KUNST BLAU created through the use of image generators. Masters and helper, the inhabitants of the castle, are accompanied by an artificial intelligence, the Bard Komu AI.
Title: The Lord of the Castle of Glass. Description: portrait of an elderly figure adorned in an eastern kaftan, with weary hands that suggest a long and arduous journey. The Lord sits on a bench reminiscent of the works of Friedensreich Hundertwasser, with his eyes closed in a state of contemplation or meditation. The castle of glass that he presides over represents a realm of beauty and fragility, where transparency and impermanence reign. The Lord embodies a sense of wisdom and experience, having witnessed the ebb and flow of life and the impermanence of all things. His serene expression invites us to pause, reflect, and seek the stillness within ourselves amidst the chaotic and ever-changing world around us. Title: The Lady of the Castle of Glass. Description: a portrait of a middle-aged woman standing by a window, with streams of light emanating from the glass panes of the castle. The lady wears a headpiece reminiscent of Zima Blue's work, hinting at a connection to the realm of art and creation. Her gaze is fixed on the outside world, suggesting a longing or yearning for something beyond the walls of the castle. Perhaps she represents a desire for exploration and discovery, or a search for meaning and purpose in life. The castle of glass that she inhabits symbolizes the fragility and transience of all things, and the lady embodies a sense of grace and beauty in the face of impermanence.
I'm going to go ahead and stop us here for a moment.
Okay, yes, sure.
Because I want to bring Art in, but let me just go to where his art is.
Yes, sure.
Because one of the exciting things about that is you used Midjourney for all of these, correct? For your illustrations?
Yes, I would say I used it for this purpose only, Midjourney. For other purposes, I use DALL-E 2. So
Right,
it's not one package I have in mind always.
Right, but for this particular exhibit, you used Midjourney only, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
the
So
Castle of Glass, yes.
for the Castle of Glass, and how many? So when you put in your text prompt, this is procedure. This is AI procedure. You put in your text prompt, and you got your raw images. Can you remember how many variations, how many versions you did of a chosen picture to get the final result?
Yeah, that's a process. That means first, when I started in September last year, I tried out. So you just, like in a sandbox, you try something, yeah? And then you see, okay, yeah, oh, not so good. This way is better than this way, than that way. And then you get a filter in your head and say, oh, I think this is a way, yeah? And then the idea comes and say, oh yeah, it might be a sand castle, yeah? Before this, you don't know that a castle will it be, yeah? You think it may be a car, you will build a car, because you have not an idea of the nature of sand, yeah? So now you know the nature of sand, everyone knows it, yeah? So a sand castle is quite obvious if you work with sand. But if you work with words towards pictures, it's not obvious, yeah, what you put in. But after a while, you get your style, and then you see, oh yeah, it has something when I do this and when I do that, and then you want to have a sort of serious. I'm like Joseph Beuys, serious, yeah. So you don't make one work, you make a series, or Vasarely, you make a concept behind, yeah. So you create a story. You can say also story. And then you say, okay, so this would be a story, and in a story something has to connect. One thing has to connect to the next. So you don't jump from one to this. Okay, sometimes you jump, but not always. So you get a feeling for it. Though at the beginning, 1 out of 20, you would say, that's good. Then you go on and then you say, oh, this 1 out of 20 was not good. It was just basic, yeah, because you are now a saint master, yeah. So you go forward with this technology, and then you have another point where you say, okay, now I have 1 out of 50, and then you get an expert, and then you say, oh, now really everything I make is great, and then you have the problem. You have 1,000 great pictures. I can show 20, okay, maybe 30, but then the people get tired. They will be tired after 40. How can I bring them of the 100 great pictures, 40? Yeah, 60 are still very great and they will miss it. Yeah, they would die for them. But okay, but they will die also for the 40. So they die nevertheless. So what to select when you have just great stuff around? And that remembers me on stories when I was visiting the Bremer Kunsthalle, where my artifacts are in their deposit. Yeah. As Franke had his exhibition for his 75th birthday celebration, sponsored by Siemens, where he worked as it was when he was young. So they got the funding from the Siemens Culture Foundation to exhibit Franke. Otherwise, they would not have done it. Yeah. So you always need money, even if you are a well-known artist. Yeah? And I was part of this showing. So I am part of the collection there. Yeah? So I'm one of the few living artists who made art before 1980. If you create art after 1980, it's called the flood. So you are not longer recognized. You are just one of millions. But if you are before 1980, you are a pioneer. And I made, luckily at high school, the first artworks, 1967, 8, 9, and so on. So I am a pioneer. I'm whatever I made, it has value.
You're a somebody.
It has value because it's old. Yeah, it's not good. It's just old. Yeah, my mother called it rubbish. Yeah, so I want to visit this rubbish at the Bremer Kunsthalle. And the curator said, okay, I will show you, but you will see nothing. And we went to the basement, multi-million bunker, I would say. And it is really a catastrophe if you see this. It's a big bunker with what's called with shelves or something like this. I don't know the English word, with boxes, let's say, yeah, iron boxes, 10 meters high or 15 meters high, and all packed together, so you cannot enter between the box rows. There is a machine where it moves, where it makes a little gap out, it opens a little bit. If you program the machine, all the boxes are moving, so it's a little gap where you can walk in. So she programmed row number 17 open, machine opened it. Then there was a gangway, a gap I called it. Then we walked in this little gangway. She said, she asked, where is it? Schneeberger, Au, row number, column number. Okay, box came out, open the, oh, there are my artworks. Okay, now I saw them. Closing the box, carrier back, machine closing the bunker. So there is my art. It will be never shown if I don't find a sponsor with really a big package of money, where they would say, oh, we want to see the old Rainer Schneeberger's work, the origin of Art BLAU, the first step in this universe. And then they would open the bunker and take the box out. Yeah. So this is reality. So it's reality for all artists. If you are not one of the 20 or whatever, 100 famous artists, you end in the bunker.
Wait,
so,
are you trying to tell us that we're not famous?
yeah. In the way of museal conservation, yeah. I don't speak of social recognition. Yeah, if you're on YouTube and you have 1 million followers, you are bingo. Yeah,
don't have
it's totally different level. Yeah, so but in the picture of the traditional art world, yeah, in a digital artist or someone who has made stuff on plotter on paper, yeah, sketches, you end in such a deposit and you can be happy because it's conserved better than under the bed where my mother wanted to get rid of this rubbish. Yeah, it's expensive to conserve paper in a professional way, humidity, temperature controlled, and so on. So every day, a lot of this art gets lost. Yeah, it get lost. Yeah, so it is lost forever. So if a new artist comes and say, "Oh, I made this one. It's innovation." Okay, he can say it or she can say it because the originator is lost. Yeah, it's lost. So you don't see the traces any longer where it comes from. So it must not be a bad thing because it's always in our society. So a reinvention of stuff. And but I want to contribute to this discussion, and this is also part of creativity. So Lauren, maybe it's also a part of social creativity.
I think so. Yes, it's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, we're actually coming close to the end of our time. So I have a final question to ask you. I belong to a faction of artists who believe that we are here to love what we love, and that at the core of our creative practice is love. It fuels us, it motivates us, and its magnetic pull keeps us interested, curious, enthusiastic, and resilient in our devotion to our creative practice and craft. So, as an artist, what is it you believe is at the core of your art practice?
Oh, the core of my art practice.
Yes.
That's an interesting question, of course. I would say controlled randomness.
Controlled randomness. How do you control randomness? You mean AI text prompt? They got the
Herbert,
big bank. You put in the words.
Herbert W. Franke has created in the year 1979 the first interactive art machine, Kunstmaschine, called Mondrian. It's a bad term, but he used it. It's not a very suited term, let's say, because it was controversial, because it's why it's calling it Mondrian. A machine who created cubes, colorful cubes on screen in 2 dimensions. 1979 was just home computer. PC was not there. Yeah? It was before the PC area, on a Texas Instruments machine. With the screen has been the TV set. So you, like an Atari, you plugged it on the TV set. And with keystrokes, you could create art. So you entered, mouse was also not existing. So you entered with keys, you steered by pressing keystrokes the outcome of the boxes, of the colorful boxes, of the artwork. So it was creating colorful boxes by keystrokes, and the computer had a degree of freedom to change what you made. So you could say more randomness or less randomness. The degree of giving the decision what will happen on the screen was given by you as the artist to the computer. So you could set full randomness of size of the boxes, of color selection, yeah, of orientation, where are the boxes coming. So you could control it totally, randomness 0, yeah, like a constructivist. You say, here's a box, there's a box, this color, that color. Or you could say, no, make me a collage and try what you can, what you think about, yeah. And also music came to it. to the rhythm of the colors. So it was the first interactive art machine, and this controlled randomness is something that is now, let's say, on a different level inside all the artificial intelligence machines. They create out of the words you give them a picture. How do they do it? Okay, they look somewhere in open source databases or in maybe say in stolen works. It's the other discussion, yeah. But they decide what to grab, and they decide every time different, because the providers of this technology don't want to bore you. They want to keep you. So if you let's for example say Dawn Blue, if you just prompt Dawn Blue, which I did today, because I have the domain dawn.blue, for example, want to see what is the machine making, then the machine creates me nice, whoa, wow, great things. And if you enter dawn.blue now in the web, you will see something.
Dawn as in sunrise or the name?
Dawn's the name Dawn. From dusk till dawn.
Oh yeah, Dawn.
From dusk till dawn. You know the movie, yeah?
Sunrise.
Dawn.blue, yeah. Just an example. And so I always work with seed. I never work without seed. Seed means I steer the random generator. I give him a fixed point so I can reproduce the art I create. If you don't give a seed to the machine, the seed will be a random number, which you don't know. So you can never get the same dawn.blue picture again. You will never get the same. If you just prompt to the machine dawn blue, and you do it again and again, you get always different results. So if you want a specific result again, you have to control the randomness. And I control randomness in my art. So I have the chance to make variations based on a not random seed. So my seed is me, and the seed I don't publish.
You know,
I publish
unfortunately, Art, I'm going to have to step in. This is so fascinating. I think
okay.
another hour, but we're at the end of our time now. So thank you so much, Art Blue, for coming and sharing with us today. Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. And I'm just going to do a closing. Thank you. Thank you, all of our viewers out there who came in and went out and came in and went out. We had quite a number at one time. And so that's absolutely wonderful. Join us again for another art talk on Thursday, June 1st, same time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Twitch adjusts for your own time zone right here at visionaryartistpath.com. And we will have another special guest to bring to you. And at this time, I would like to bring my co-host with me, and we want to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was great. It was a pleasure having Art here. And I really learned a lot from his speech.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Kisma.
You're very welcome.
The blah blah artist. Bye bye.
Bye, blah blah.
Bye, Art.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Kisma. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.